What are crafting writs? Crafting writs are player versus environment PvE activities that are repeatable. Like other dailies, the quests are offered in a set order and reset at the same time each day. Crafting writs are obtained from crafting daily boards in the base game zones and in the main cities of the chapters. There is one writ board for consumables and another for equipment. Currently, there are 7 dailies in all. Crafting dailies are unlocked by leveling a character to adventure level 6. Complete crafting certifications for one or more of the crafting professions in one of the starter areas or in one of the main cities of the chapter zones. You will find these NPCs outside the Mages Guild and the Fighters Guild, and in the case of Julie crafting, outside Alinor crafting area. Note, you can certify before level 6, and it's a good way to level your crafter to level 6 by turning them in, but it can be done. Why do crafting writs? There are many benefits to doing crafting writs. It's something to do while you're waiting for those group finder queues. Leveling your crafting professions, although it's not the best method. Farming surveys for crafting materials for gear and upgrade materials through refining. Gold. Lots of gold. There is a modest quest reward when you turn it in, and this is based on your adventure level, not your crafting level. Collecting surveys to refine materials for sale. These are the refined usable materials and the improvement items. If you choose to do this, please max out your extractment passive under each of the proficiencies for equipment. You'll maximize what you get out of the refining process. Selling sealed writs. If you're doing the max tier level crafting writs, then you will also be rewarded with sealed writs. These are for master crafters. You could be doing these sealed writs for vouchers and then buying voucher items for resale. These are things like transmutation station furniture, attunable crafting stations, etc. You can also sell the miscellaneous reward items that you also get. These are intricate items, soul gems, refined mats of various tiers, and upgrade mats. And finally, my favorite, trading time for tradable experience points. Wait, what? Tradable experience? Similar to how a player versus player PvEers can farm alliance points or Televar stones, then convert them into items by spending them on items for trade, such as Akaveri motifs, golden vendor jewelry, Cyrodiil sets, etc. Crafters can do the same with sealed writs. Turning in sealed writs give a lot of experience, which can also be increased by the usual buffs: experience scrolls, experience potions, and event bonuses. Since they are tradable, they have created a secondary market for them: purchasable experience gain. The most desirable ones are alchemy and enchanting, and to a lesser extent, provisioning. Once the crafter reaches max level, this experience offered by these dailies and sealed writs do little besides increasing their CP, their championship points, but currently the CP are capped. However, in order to experience benefit of these sealed writs, the buyer requires the necessary crafting skills. Unlock the highest quality of items to be crafted, such as legendary. You need to unlock the 3 reagent recipes, and unlocking the multiple quantity passives will save you some materials in completing them efficiently. And if you are doing equipment writs, you will need the motif styles. While this method is currently the fastest leveling method in the game, for example, level 4 to 50 in 40 minutes or less, the number of sealed writs needed makes this leveling method cost prohibitive for most new players. Where to do crafting writs? The desired crafting location is subjective and depends on several factors. Location. These are the zones you have access to, and those with the daily boards. They are not in all locations, just a few. Most of these, though, are accessible from the Alliance Navigator located at the docks or in the center of town in the form of a cart. Banker. Additional storage is nice if you do not have a banker assistant or a crafting bag. Access to guild traders. This allows you to purchase written materials if you're running low, and selling your rewards. Access to guild banks allows you to share your reward recipes, etc. with your guildies, and if you have a second account and happen to have a guild bank that's shared, you can use it to move items between accounts as well. Mount training. Stables close to a daily board or turn-in location is preferred for newer characters that are still leveling their mounts. An Outlaw's Refuge is handy for those who have the Shadowy Supplier passive, which is found in the Dark Brotherhood line. This passive allows you to get free reagents, and often they reward players with mushrooms, which are not included in surveys. A Mastercrafter vendor is useful if you tend on doing those sealed writs or purchasing the vouchers for items for resale. Popular locations for doing writs. Some of the most popular locations are starter towns such as Daggerfall, Diamond's Watch, and Vulgulgard. Vivec City is my personal favorite because of the close proximity to the daily boards, to the stations, traders, an outside banker, so loading free zone, a shadowy supplier right near the turn-in, so it's perfect for me. Stormhold is popular in Shadowfen because it also has a nice route of proximity of station to the boards. It has a banker, although it's inside, so there's a loading screen or two. There is a stable, and there's a guard-free turn-in near the Way Shrine, which makes it very popular for those with a bounty. The capital cities are also popular: Elden Root, Wayrest, and Mournhold. They have the bankers, the master writ vendor, they have pledges, traders, and stables. And the new chapter cities are well laid out for crafting, with close proximity to stations, the writ boards, and turn-ins. These are like Alinor and Rimmon. And trading hubs are also popular, more for the people who like to play the trading merchant game. How do you do the writs? Completing writs is fairly straightforward once you're certified. You obtain the dailies from the 2 boards in the writ turn-in cities. There's equipment and there's consumables, so 7 in total. You make the items or you can purchase them. You need the items to make the items, and there has to be items available for purchase. So if you run out and there are none available, you're kind of stuck. Then you use the turn-in box for each profession writ completed at the turn-in location. So, I mentioned that you can purchase some of the items. So for 2 of the professions, alchemy and provisioning, You do not have to make them on your account. They can be made by different characters, or they can be even made by different accounts. And then once you're done turning them in, there's the wonderful, everyone's favorite inventory management. You bank the goodies, put them in your hoard, or you sell them or destroy the stuff you don't want. So the methodology, how you do writs generally comes down to add-on availability, storage, and other considerations. Add-ons, if available, significantly speed up the process by completing the writs by visiting the crafting stations. Storage. You need enough room in your pack for the current items until you get to the turn-in spot. Pre-made items. You can make some items ahead of time. For speed, you'd leave them in your pack, but if you want a bit more of utility and communal storage, you can just make one stack of each, put it in the bank, and use them across all your crafters. Materials, you'll need the materials. These are the refined items, style items for equipment items, runes, reagents, etc. to make the stuff. But there are constraints on what you can do as far as the types of writs. These are your crafting level, the number of skill points available, and the time you want to spend to it. So the constraints, this is your crafting level. Crafting ranks are required to unlock the proficiencies to do higher tiered writs. Skill points, well, they're needed to max out crafting and the passives to make the crafting process more efficient, like crafting more items per input materials. And time. How much time do you want to spend versus the reward? If it's not something you like doing, you probably won't want to do it on all 18 characters or more. So here are my recommendations. Optimizing your skill points. If you don't have any skill points, well, you can do surveys to obtain mats for gears, resale and future writs. If you have a few skill points, you have a few options there. You can max out the proficiencies in alchemy, provisioning, and enchanting first. Alchemy and provisioning items are stackable and can be pre-made. Provisioning writs vary by faction at lower levels, so you'll want to get provisioning up to at least level 4 on your characters and try to keep them at the same level. The max level is preferred because of the additional chances of getting master writs. So you won't need as much storage by having fewer writ recipes to do. And enchanting writs only require one item to be made, and it's a fairly quick process. If you don't have a lot of skill points, you may just want to keep them at the lowest tier to get your surveys and use the additional skill points to max out the hirelings once you have maxed out the level. Because these are basically free mats just for logging in, you don't have to do anything else. And if you have lots of skill points, max out the proficiencies and max out the amount of quantity that you can make on the bonuses. At least one character to be able to make the consumable stuff ahead of time efficiently. Greatest quantity and quality of rewards is given at higher proficiencies, so if you can, max out those professions and their primary proficiencies if you can. Collect your surveys on max adventure level characters with max level equipment crafting proficiencies. This affects what materials are harvested from the nodes when you visit those surveys. There's a 50-50 chance of getting your adventure level or your crafting level. So for example, if you have a max level character but only level 1 proficiency, say in metal, you might get iron or you might get rubidite ore. It all depends. And then finally, max out your adventure level. The gold reward is based on your adventure level. Okay, let's look at our first demonstration. We're going to be using a PC with the keyboard mouse UI with add-ons. So again, the process is collect the equipment writs, go to each of the crafting station, complete the writs, and then move on. Next, we move on to the consumable writs. There's a board here. This is where we get provisioning, alchemy, and enchanting. I have the remaining consumables in my bank, so I'm going to pop open the banker, and the Lazy Writ add-on will grab it from the bank automatically. When you do this, you'll want to optimize your gear for speed and use any speed buffs. In this next demo, we are going to do a simulation of no add-ons with the GamePad UI. In my opinion, the best way to do writs without add-ons is to pre-make as much as you can as possible. Since all the items and rotations are known for the writs, you can make all these items in advance using the mass crafting feature. Note, the equipment writs have to be done by the character. The main constraint of this method is the amount of storage you have. Thanks for watching. Didn't take notes? You can catch them at my website at benevolentbodhi.ca. Like the video, please smash the like button and enter your comments below. Till next time, see you in Tamriel.